Hi Leo, I'm Anisha. To know more about my work, you may visit my website www.tarotbyanisha.com. For those of you who are seeking deeper clarity, be it in your love lives or your career, for a personal consultation, you may write to me at tarotbyanisha@gmail.com. Leos, welcome to your May 2021 horoscope forecast. We still have Uranus that is there in Taurus and it's shaking up the everyday pattern for it. And on the 4th, we have Mercury that is moving into Gemini and it moves into your groups of people with people whom you consider your tribe and with whom you have similar goals and similar desires. Now, this is a time where you will be coming up with the best of ideas when you're working in a group. It's not a time to be working in silo. You may need people around to bounce off ideas in order to use your mind to its fullest potential. So there could be a lot of phone calls, you could be getting on a lot of Zoom calls, you could be ideating, discussing, collaborating with people. And the ideas that you come up with now tend to be more unconventional, and you could be coming up with a lot of innovative solutions to the problems. You could also be drawn to anything that is original, be it original concepts dealing with technology, especially the internet, that you would be really drawn towards. You may have more communication with your friends or with the groups that you may belong with. And you could be spending a lot of time thinking about your future and planning about your future. On the 9th as well, we have Venus that moves into this part of your chart where Gemini is there. And this is again all about enjoying, reconnecting with your friends, having conversations, maybe walking down the memory path. On the 11th, we have a new moon that is in resonance with Uranus in your house of career. So there could be some amount of unpredictability, and this is something that you have been dealing with since the last few years. And it carries on till about 2025, and there could be this uncertainty as far as your work is concerned, and it could be really be unpredictable. There could be times where there's a lot of work, and there could be an absolute lull at the other times. Also, it would do you well if you were to focus on careers or in work which has to do with technology, with the internet. That is the space where your work will be growing the most. On the 14th, we have Jupiter that is changing signs and it is moving to Pisces. That is there in your house of joint finances, resources. It is the house of your partner. And this aspect carries on till about 29th of July. And it's a time to be growing and expanding your power and others' resources as well. Jupiter, in any case, every time that it comes and transits any part of our house, it tends to grow it, it tends to expand it. So it can, Jupiter can improve a lot of hidden areas while it moves through this specific house of yours, whether it is joint finances, whether it is loans, taxes, your psychological state and deeper emotions, how secure you feel deep in your soul, and how you deal with sexuality, death, and even the occult. For a lot of you, Leos, if there have been commitment issues, if for the longest of time you've not been able to commit, and due to whatever reasons, this is a time where Jupiter will help you overcome that hurdle. In some cases, it also indicates that you will receive an inheritance or windfall, but it's wise not to expect it. And Jupiter will pass through this specific house. It does every 12 years. So you won't, experience it the same way each time. And you might come into some money now, but it's not that always every time that it will happen, but you are likely to benefit in some way or the other through people's resources. For those of you who are in a relationship, it's a good time to be pool your resources or perhaps go into business together. It's also a good time to be picking up a loan unless there's some other transits that mitigate against it. Generally, though, with Jupiter's transit in others' resources in relation to your needs, So you should find them more than willing to help you in some way or the other. It might not be really financial as to whatever the resources that you may require, and so it won't hurt to ask. You may also expand your sex life in some way and become more sexually adventurous. And for those of you who are more than willing to share the usual power games, that can cause problems in the relationships, try and sort of stay away from whether the competitiveness, the healthy competition, of course, in a relationship is good, but if you feel it has been toxic for a while, or it has toxic undertones, or it's passive aggressive, then try and stay away from the power games in the relationship. um, when Jupiter also transits this specific house, it also indicates that we could be interested in something which has to do with the occult, maybe, or even studies which have to do with the psyche. You could be quite interested to know, really dig more, delve more deeply as to what is it that is really going on. Something which is hidden, something which is not really um, easily available. It's mysterious. It's not clear to us. For some of you, you may experience spiritual or religious regeneration that encourages you to find out more about the mysteries of life and death and rebirth. It's a good time to be studying the occult or mystical literature if you have been, you know, wanting to know more about it. There is a possibility of sharing resources with others. It's a good time to be planning your financial future. It's a wonderful time to be being more intimate in your relationships. It's a wonderful time for spiritual healing and contentment. Try and watch out that you don't borrow more than you can afford to pay back, Leos, and also try and not to play power games during this time. On the 21st, we have Sun that again comes and lights up your friends and groups of people. Some good news over there, some support. And on the 26th, we have a lunar eclipse that is there in your house of love, romance, creativity, and children. And it speaks about maybe a creative project or a venture that is coming to an end during this time. For some of you, you could be seeing a completion of a love affair or heightening of one if it has been going steady. And you could, for some of you, you may break up with someone during this time, but it could be something that has been in the pipeline for a while. It will not sort of come suddenly. And you may want to be, by yourself. You may want to be alone during this placement. So try and stay a little clear about rebound flings. As exciting as they sound, they normally tend to leave you feeling quite cold in the end. A lot of you, you're going to be feeling quite enthusiastic, quite passionate, but watch out for the spontaneity and don't sort of go overboard over there. Work could be at the back burner during this time, so don't commit yourself to something really big, or you could be literally, you could be tearing your hair and your teeth and your nails out trying to get it done. On the 30th, end of the month, we have Mercury that goes retrograde, and it's going retrograde for 3 weeks in your house of groups of friends and people with whom you consider your tribe. So it's a great time for a reunion as much as the pandemic will allow you. Maybe it could just be a Zoom call, and you will connect with someone you've been out of touch with for a very long time. And for some, it also indicates almost like a social withdrawal, which again, considering it's a pandemic, I guess it won't be too unusual. And you may want to sort of just take some time off and, discover yourself and spend more time with yourself and just be with yourself. Avoid misunderstandings also with friends during this time. Be sure that you have the right end of the stick before you sort of cross them off your Diwali or your Christmas list. And Also, stay away from gossip and rumors. If you've been hearing, you know, just stuff, just remember that hear no evil and speak no evil right now. However, it's a good time to be weeding out people who no longer serve you. So don't hesitate to cut off connections which have turned toxic or which have run their own time. The keywords for you for the retrograde would be reconnect, regroup, reconvene, and reform. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Leos. I'll see you again soon. And thank you so much for watching.